Chapter 275, Heist Beam. The star-absorbing technique devoured the lightning energy to reduce the damage of the lightning tribulation on Kang Chon's body. While the 9 revolutions, Zhuang then absorbed these lightning energies that were devoured by the star-absorbing technique and used them to complete the evolution and enhancement of the physical body. Finally, the Kang Chon hegemonic blood released the life essence to repair Kang Chon's body. In this way, this devouring, to absorption, and then to mending, the 3 parties were in a marvelous balance, which had to be said to be a miracle that only Kang Chon could do. Of course, even if Kang Chon's means were heavenly, causing these 3 parties to be in balance, the pain of having one's physical body constantly being re-injured and then mended was unavoidable. However, this was undoubtedly easy for Kang Chon, who had already received the inheritance from the Power God Temple, and whose soul had undergone a metamorphosis, and he could easily endure it almost without having to run his ice-heart skill. The current Kang Chon, after his soul metamorphosis, there was already no physical pain that he could not tolerate, and even if it was pain in terms of his soul, he would be able to withstand it, as long as the other party was not too strong. Good vigor. 100 miles away, the law enforcement elder looked at Kang Chon in the middle of the Sea of Thunder with a face full of admiration. Although the thunder light was blazing, it could not stop his stern gaze. He could clearly see that Kang Chon was using the energy of the thunder tribulation to cultivate the 9 revolutions of the Zhuang, and that his physical body was rapidly improving. Seeing his disciple being so bold, he was very pleased. It was as if he could see himself when he was young, also so disrespectful to the heavens and disobedient to the earth. Such a heavenly tribulation was no longer a test, but a miraculous encounter bestowed by the heavens are. Of course, people who could turn a test into a miraculous encounter had been very rare since the beginning of time. At least he had only seen Kang Chon alone. After this calamity, his 9-turned Zhuang would be able to enter the middle of the 4th layer. The law enforcement elder murmured, "Don't look at the small realm of only raising from the early 4th layer to the mid-4th layer. The difficulties involved were so great that even with Kang Chon's talent, he wouldn't be able to do it without a few years." This time, however, the heavenly tribulation had saved Kang Chon a lot of time, allowing his physical body to once again ascend a small realm. Roar! Suddenly, a roar came from far away, and the law enforcement elder slightly glanced sideways, but he saw that Little Gold was already facing the final lightning tribulation. Why? It was because after Little Gold had resisted the bombardment of 3 robberies, the heavenly tribulation was enraged by his provocation and directly rained down the remaining 77 robberies together. This kind of sound was very terrifying, although it was not as massive as Kang Chon's 500 or so. It was not to be underestimated. A small sea of thunder. Berserk, fighting fist. As that small sea of thunder descended, the terrifying pressure had already descended first. Little Jin was no longer arrogant. This time, he was filled with gravity, almost immediately displaying his Vajra Divine Monkey's original body. A golden-colored giant ape rushed into the sky, letting out a roar that shook the heavens and moved the earth. Little Gold didn't hesitate for a second. He sensed a crisis, and after revealing his true form, he directly went berserk. Then executed the fighting fist, and blasted against the boundless sea of thunder. This time, he took the initiative to attack, because after going berserk, he possessed a crazy determination to battle the heavens and the earth, and that came from the dignity in the Vajra Divine Monkey's bloodline. This kind of dignity could not be provoked. Whoever wanted to fight would fight. Whoever wanted to fight would fight, even if the heavens could not. Boom, boom, boom. Little Gold leapt up his huge body, both fists waving the fighting fist of victory, striking out a terrifying attack, fending off the power of the lightning tribulation around him. He raised his head to the sky, and his body barely stopped for a moment as he directly charged into the boundless sea of thunder. This was a strong head-to-head duel, as Little Gold erupted with the strongest power and launched the fiercest attacks, wanting to shatter the tribulation clouds. It had to be said that this was a very great decision. While other people's tribulations were all destined to be struck by splits, his tribulation was to shatter the tribulation clouds. Where was this? Accepting the test of the heavens. It was completely battling with the heavens. Even the distant law enforcement elder had a look of awe on his face as he said, "Worthy of being a Vader, a divine monkey." This berserk battle intent has long since penetrated deep into his bloodline, completely tapping into his potential. The law enforcement elder was right. After berserking, Little Gold had gone completely crazy. With only a fierce battle intent in his heart, and with his body's instincts, he struck the strongest attacks. Battle. The only thing in Little Gold's heart at this moment is fighting, regardless of the countless thunderbolts around him. Lightning flashes. He only relies on a pair of golden fists to meet all sides. His aura is out of this world. This is a stalemate battle, until 3 hours later, the boundless robbery's clouds began to dissipate. Some of them dissipated as their energy ran out, while others were blasted away by Little Gold's twin fists. Standing in the sky, Little Gold's eyes blazed, his entire body exuding an unyielding battle intent. He had done it, using his own strength to fight against the heavenly tribulation, blasting it to smithereens. Such a domineering way of crossing the tribulation was rare in the ages, worthy of being a Vader, a divine monkey. The law enforcement elder marveled continuously. Brother. Immediately after Little Gold finished his tribulation, his gaze looked towards Kang Chan's place of tribulation, his face full of worry, his eyes staring tightly at the sea of thunder not far away. Undoubtedly, Kang Chan's heavenly tribulation was much more powerful than his. And although he had great confidence in Kang Chan, he couldn't help but be a little worried at this moment. After all, he didn't have the cultivation level like the law enforcement elder, and couldn't see the scene in the sea of thunder. This kind of heavenly calamity could not be hard to defeat, brother. Little Gold thought in his heart, a light of conviction emanating from his eyes as he believed in the heavens. Boom! As if to verify Little Jin's suspicions, not long after he finished crossing the heavenly tribulation, the sea of thunder that enveloped Kang Chan finally began to dissipate, revealing a domineering figure. Its brother. Little Jin's eyes gleamed, and he was instantly filled with surprise. Kang Chan had passed through the bombardment of the boundless sea of thunder unharmed, his body transmitting a faint golden glow, like a treasure body that emitted an immortal radiance. His eyes were very shiny, like the bright stars in the sky, and the pair of stern eyes, which came out from his eyes, cut through the layers of space and looked into the unknown void. Although his body did not move a bit, but a powerful breath has involuntarily erupted from Kang Chan's body, like a long rainbow, running through the sky and breaking through the clouds. Yuanying stage 7th level, Xiao Jin exclaimed in shock. After he had finished his calamity, his cultivation had been promoted to the 4th level of the Yuanying stage. With a difference of 3 small realms, he could completely tell what Kang Chan's cultivation was at this moment. It was definitely at the 7th level of the Yuanying stage. Kang Chan had crossed 7 minor realms in a row. Breaking common sense, it was simply a miracle rarely seen in the ages. The law enforcement elder was also filled with shock as he sighed. It seems that the 3 years in the spirit sealing space suppressed him to the point where he accumulated such a thick foundation and crossed 7 minor realms in a row at once. Boom! Before the law enforcement elder recovered from his surprise, the calamity cloud above Kang Chan's head changed once again, and a piercing human-shaped lightning bolt swooped down from it, coming straight at Kang Chan. Miracle. An absolute miracle. Kang Chan had crossed 7 minor realms in a row, achieving the strongest myth of a tribulation ever. However, the sky's tribulation clouds didn't seem willing to let Kang Chan go, and began to change again, from which a terrifying human-shaped lightning bolt was shot out, carrying majestic energy fluctuations as it swiftly swooped down. Immediately, heaven and earth shook, and Kang Chon felt a vast pressure, as well as a compelling aura. Otherworldly heavenly tribulation, not far away. Xiao Jin's eyes stared, just like the Jidan stage. This time, Kang Chon was still crossing the different heavenly tribulation, which was very powerful. The law enforcement elder was also a little surprised. His eyes flashed with surprise. Although he had not seen Kang Chon cross the Jidan stage, heavenly tribulation, he was also clear about the dreadfulness of the heterogeneous heavenly tribulation. It definitely could not be described by common sense. Boom! In the midst of Kang Chon's blazing gaze, that human-shaped lightning struck out an unrivaled blast, causing his eyes to instantly shrink. It was actually the fighting fist. Not to mention Kang Chon's surprise. Even Little Gold himself, who was watching from afar, was stunned. He hadn't expected that human-shaped lightning to be himself. The heavenly Tao progenitor, one of the strongest otherworldly heavenly tribulation in ancient times. The future generations are fearful. The law enforcement elder sighed softly. His eyes were full of different colors. He had heard of this kind of heavenly tribulation. Legend had it that during the ancient flood period, the human emperor went through this tribulation, which became a good story that had been passed down through the ages. What kind of character is the Emperor of Man? That is the invincible character of the 3 realms and 6 paths. In the ancient flood period, but there was a slaughter of the power of the gods. In later times, the human cultivation world was able to flourish, comparable to the demon beast race, to a large extent from the wise leadership of the Emperor of Man back then. His achievements could be seen from the honorable title of Human Emperor, which was definitely the only person in the world who was worshipped by all living beings. Therefore, the Elder of Law Enforcement was very shocked in his heart at the moment. He knew that Kang Chon was able to invoke the heavenly Tao to send down such a strange heavenly calamity, which was enough to show that his natural talent, even if it could not be comparable to that of the human emperor, in the future, it would still be one of the top figures in the heavens and the earth. What do you think the heavenly Tao is? Since it descended the strongest heavenly tribulation to punish Kang Chon, it is enough to show Kang Chon's natural talent. Ordinary people simply couldn't enjoy this treatment. I never thought that I would have a day to fight Little Gold. Huh. Looking at the human-shaped lightning that swooped down from the sky, a hint of a smile flashed in Kang Chon's eyes. And then his right hand gently probed out, and the terrifying true essence fluctuations swept out. Immediately, above the head of that human-shaped lightning, a huge purple palm abruptly appeared, rapidly suppressing it. Boom! With an explosive sound, the huge purple palm appeared very steeply, suppressing down as soon as it appeared, causing that human-shaped lightning to be unable to dodge, and was directly blasted into the earth. It had been 3 years. The heaven-tackling hand that had been imprisoned for 3 years had finally reappeared in all its glory, and that unrivaled might was still irresistible. In the distance, Xiao Jin's face twitched, seeing the heaven-tackling prosperity, copying his humanoid lightning being directly slapped down. A trace of eccentricity flooded his heart. However, he was very clear about the power of the heaven-tackling hand. It was the most powerful divine ability he had ever seen. And to date, there was no divine ability that could surpass the heaven-tackling hand. It made this divine ability enough to be called Kang Chon's greatest stance. Defeated under the heaven-escaping hand, Xiao Jin was convinced, and he also knew that even if he went up in person, he would not be Kang Chon's opponent. Drink. Kang Chon's eyes radiantly glowed as he coldly drank, and his body went. A heaven-tackling hand caused him to be in the upper hand, but it did not kill the humanoid lightning, which once again swung its fighting fist and rushed towards Kang Chon. The battle was on the verge of breaking out. This time, Kang Qian did not perform another heaven-tackling hand, but instead swung his battling fist against it, and both of them were like gods of war, directly using their fists to fight hard, fighting fiercely. However, it could be seen that the human-shaped lightning was losing ground, and was not Kang Qian's opponent at all. In fact, during this period of time in the spirit sealing space on space, Kang Qian hadn't sparred with Xiao Jin, and he knew the battle fist very well, so it was much easier to cope with it. Moreover, Kang Qian's bastard fist was not below the fighting victory fist. In terms of dominance, the fighting victory fist was inferior to the bastard fist. However, the battle spirit of the fighting fist was majestic, and if the berserked little gold were to perform it, it would be able to multiply its power. Unfortunately, although this human-shaped lightning bolt was copied from little gold by heavenly hijack, it did not copy the natural aptitude of berserking, and the fundamental reason why natural aptitudes are called natural aptitudes is that they come from the bloodline inheritance. Obviously, this human-shaped lightning is only a virtual body copied by the heavenly calamity. There is no blood present. Naturally, there will not be any talent divine ability.